Hello from North Wales and the Fairy Glen. It's not windy today, or it has been a little bit, but better than it's been on our recent adventures anyway. It's not raining.
Boom!
So we're going to make our way down to the Fairy Glen. We've not been before, so not sure what to expect, but we'll see when we get down there. Look at that cloud. So again, it wasn't the easiest to find, but good old Google Maps helped us out. You can park sort of just literally 5 minutes away and sort of walk down. There's a little honesty box to put £1 in for parking, and it's £1 each to get in.
And 50p for children.
50p for kids, no dogs. It's probably going to be quite loud, I imagine, when we get down here, but hopefully the little microphone will pick us up. So we'll see you in a bit. So we decided to come and see the Fairy Glen today because there's been quite a bit of rainfall over the last few days. Not sure whether that's going to make for a good image or not, because it depends how much water there is. It might be quite rapid, and today we're hoping for quite a mystical. Last night I was saying mystical and I'm still saying it, but we're hoping for quite a mystical image today. So we'll make our way down and get set up, and we'll speak to you in a bit. So we chose to take the Water's Edge route because it's the more scenic route to visit down, and just need to navigate this little tree. But yeah, look how nice it is. Crazy, isn't it?
So no matter where we go or what we do, we find ourselves always drawn to finding the water.
So waterfalls are quite good on a day like this when it's a little bit overcast. We've sort of, as we've been walking up, there's pockets where the water is quite calm and then quite rapid. So when we get down there, we're going to try a couple of different exposures and just see what that movement's given us in the water. It was funny really, because on the way up we were just laughing, saying that when we did our last waterfall we were complaining that there wasn't enough water, and now we're complaining that there's too much. But yeah, at the minute we still don't know how to get down there because we're up here and the water's down there. So we're just going to sit and take it in for a minute. There's quite a few benches and little huts in case it's raining, which is quite nice. It is quite steep as well, so the little benches are coming as an added bonus on the way up. However, slight exception to the rule, don't sit on this bench. So we think that these are the steps down to the Fairy Glen Gorge. So here we are. Look how nice that is. Bit horrendous trying to get down here, and I'm sat on a rock. You probably can't tell, but I haven't got much room at all to work with. There's like literally nowhere to put your feet, and I have no idea where I'm going to put the tripod. But wow, look at that. These are the boulders that we've sort of climbed across. How stunning is that? How amazing is this place? It's absolutely stunning. Really, really, really lovely. I've got the camera set up just there, and I've been taking a mixture of exposures. So I've been playing around with the f-stop and the shutter speed. So I've been taking some images around 3 and 4 seconds, and then I introduced the 6-stop and did some longer exposures. So we took a couple at 2 minutes, between 1 minute and 2 minutes. I then turned around and pointed the camera in this direction, which is equally as lovely, and the water is swirling round and round, creating some lovely, lovely, lovely patterns on the water. So just in terms of what I've got on my camera, so as usual I've got a polarizing filter on, and that's to take some of the glare off the water. I've got a 6-stop ND, and that's to reduce the light that's coming into the lens. The reason that I've got the 6-stop on is because I didn't want to really run the image longer than around 2 minutes. So if you want to have your shutter open for longer, you need to put something dark in front of it to stop the light coming in, hence the filter. So quite happy with the images that I've got so far. And what I've done on a couple of images is focus stack them. You can see these rocks just here, so I've focused on those rocks and then focused right the way back into the gorge, just to try and get some sharpness from front to back, which sort of shooting at an aperture of 8 f18 sort of up to f20 should be sharp enough, but just to make sure. So I've moved away from the water a little bit, just in the hope that you can hear me a bit better, because it is really, really noisy. But I just wanted to sort of just take a moment and try and maybe explain shutter speed a little bit more. So for a waterfall, or for any sort of water, it's nice to capture the movement in the water. So, well, that's my preference anyway. So basically, when the shutter is open, if it's open for sort of 20-30 seconds, the camera is recording all of that movement while the shutter's open, and that's why you get the water looking really milky, and you get sort of the foam trails through the water. At the other end of the scale, so sort of a fast shutter speed, so anything sort of 1/160th of a second all the way up to 1/8000th of a second, which is mentally fast, it freezes that moment, it freezes that action. So you'd sort of get droplets frozen instead of the movement of that water, if that makes sense. And it's same with skies. So if you've got your shutter open sort of for maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, the clouds are coming past, so the camera will record all of that movement in the clouds, and that's how you get the clouds really streaky. Again, because you've got the shutter open for as long as that, it's making sure that you put a filter in front of the camera so that you don't end up with a white screen and everything sort of just blown out. So the filter will balance the light, and they create absolutely lovely, amazing images that I absolutely love. I'm quite giddy today. It's so nice here. 2 hours from home. Wales, can you believe it? Wales, we never come to Wales. I think this is the first time that I've been to Wales for about 8 years. But I'm sure we'll be coming back. So we've packed up, we just sat actually watching a little bat that's bobbing around, not usually seen in the day. But yeah, it's been lovely. Sorry, I'm distracted by the bat.
Just in front of us, the bat. Tiny little thing.
But yeah, it's been lovely. I think we've probably got 2 shots, maybe 3 that I'm happy with. Done quite a lot of focus stacking and experimenting with shutter speeds. So we're going to walk back to the car and
Climb back to the car.
climb back to the car and maybe go and try and find somewhere else. It's only 4 o'clock, so who knows what the day will bring. See you later.
Bye for now.
So with your lens and your f-stop, when you've got a shallow depth of field, so maybe f2.8, inside your lens, when you change the f-stop, the hole that the light comes through is really big. When you go to the other scales, so maybe f11, f16, f18, that hole gets a lot smaller. So when it's bigger, obviously it lets a lot of light in. When it's smaller, obviously it lets less light in. Typically for landscape, you always want to be sort of anywhere from f11 onwards, unless you're trying to single a particular area out. So when you're doing water, for example, I was shooting there at f16, so because there's less light coming into the lens, it helps because you can get a longer shutter speed, so the camera can stay open for longer because there's less light coming in. I hope that makes sense and I've explained that a little bit, but the other thing that sort of does have an impact with shutter speed is ISO, and that again can make a difference to the sensitivity of the light. So again, typically you always want to be on ISO 100 because ISO helps with light. What it also does is adds noise into your image, so grain. So when you have got your ISO on 100, there's no grain. When you start pushing your ISO up to let more light in, that's when you start introducing noise, and I hate noise, I hate grain in my images. So I always try and keep my ISO at 100, definitely for landscape. So yeah, it's just really playing around. I think initially it's figuring out for a waterfall, you're going to want, or I would want, a long exposure. So I would start with my shutter speed. What exposure do I want that on? And then from there, I look at my f-stop and keep my ISO at 100. If I've got a shutter speed that I'm wanting sort of 4 or 5 seconds, I'll adjust the f-stop and then sort of introduce a filter if needs be. Sometimes you don't always need one, but it's if you want to leave that shutter open for longer than maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds. Look at this for a mysterious tree. Better get a move on. had an absolutely lovely day and really enjoyed Wales. It looks like it's been absolutely chucking it down at home, so I think we made the right decision to go to Wales anyway. So we'll see you on our next adventure. Adios.